Sobley, tough shot. Wasn't square, and here comes Indiana. Cunningham, another three. Oh my goodness, Sophie Cunningham!
Just what does it mean to come back here and be able to play or to sass an opponent tonight?
Yeah, AZ was good to me, but I'm way happier where I'm at now. It was good to see people. It was fun to play in front of some fans. But for me, I'm way happier in Indiana.
The Indiana Fever's road trip didn't just end badly. It went up in flames with a humiliating 95-60 beatdown at the hands of Phoenix. 2 crushing injuries, DeWanna Bonner talking wild in the post-game press conference, and Sophie Cunningham firing back with a scorcher of a response. In this breakdown, we're digging into exactly how things fell apart in Phoenix, Sophie's gritty push to drag her squad into the fight, and the Bombshell podcast comments where Sophie finally aired out the truth about how Bonner really walked out on the Fever. And let's just say, Sophie didn't hold back about what professional courtesy really means when you say goodbye. If you're riding with Sophie, drop Spicy Sophie in the comments. Let's go! You could tell something was off from the jump. The Fever couldn't hit water if they jumped off a pier in that first quarter. Bricks were flying, passes were getting snatched like candy, and Phoenix had already built a double-digit lead before fans even finished their popcorn. This wasn't just a slow start. It was a live, full-blown offensive collapse playing out for everyone to see.
It was, yeah, I don't know, emotions are kind of high. Honestly, it's just been a journey to get back to just being happy playing basketball again. Yeah, I'm just, the joy, trying to find that for a minute. Basketball was kind of like off the radar for me a little bit. I didn't know if I loved it anymore. Like, I had a long conversation with Alyssa, so just to feel that again, feel that energy, feel this from that building was just amazing. And I feel like it was a game that I needed to, remind me
The numbers don't lie, and Fever fans wish they did. Indiana clanked their way to a miserable 34.3% from the field and an ice-cold 7 of 30 from deep. Even worse, they coughed up the ball 22 times, gift-wrapping Phoenix a ridiculous 42 points. When you're giving up more points off turnovers than you're scoring from behind the arc, you're cooked before halftime. But the real stomach punch? Sydney Colson going down with a non-contact knee injury that froze the entire arena in silence. Then Ari McDonald started hobbling around with foot trouble, and just like that, the Fever's already thin rotation got paper thin. Watching 2 core players go down in a blowout felt like taking a gut punch while you're already flat on the mat. Phoenix didn't just win. They owned every inch of the court. They crushed Indiana on the glass 44-32 and made the Fever look completely lost, like they were searching for a map on both ends. Every possession told the same story.
You see that? DeWanna Bonner hit her first 3-point shot in about 6 months and runs down the floor after losing her starting spot to Lexi Hull. Runs down the floor and calls Lexi Hull a bomb to her face. DeWanna Bonner is out here calling Lexi Hull a bomb to her face.
The Mercury were playing chess while Indiana was still fumbling with checkers. Phoenix's defensive pressure turned the Fever's offense into pure chaos, and Indiana never found their footing. Through it all, Sophie Cunningham was the lone soldier standing tall. She dropped 18 points on clean, efficient shooting while the rest of the squad struggled to hit anything. Sophie fought tooth and nail to keep this from turning into an even bigger disaster, but one warrior can't take on an entire army. The mood inside the arena was brutal for anyone repping Fever colors. Fans had that hollow look, like they just realized this wasn't getting better. Meanwhile, the Mercury were celebrating every bucket and every defensive stop like it was Game 7 of the finals. This wasn't a night of bad luck or a couple of unlucky bounces. This was a total system collapse. And the worst part? The real fireworks came after the game.
To have been one of, if not the most embarrassing loss of the season for the Indiana Fever so far. We lost to the Atlanta Dream earlier in the season, 77-58. We lost to the Valkyrie earlier in the season, 80-61. And tonight, against the Phoenix Mercury, we lose 95-6.
DeWanna Bonner couldn't resist twisting the knife, and her post-game jab showed exactly why Indiana's better off without her. Bonner poured in 23 points and made sure the whole arena felt it. She strutted around like she'd just scaled Mount Everest, talking about finding her edge and how emotional this return was, as if she'd just conquered the basketball world in one night. But here's the real tea. Those 40 minutes were pure theater. Bonner got into multiple face-offs with Lexi Hull, staring her down after buckets, and she got downright chippy with Sophie Cunningham every time they shared the floor. She wasn't just hooping. She was staging a one-woman show aimed at humiliating her former teammates.
Sure, I mean, it sucks, right? You don't ever want to see anyone be injured on any team. I feel like there's been a lot of injuries this year in the W, harsh ones, I think. And, it's just another one. And Sid is still the heartbeat of our team. She's going to be okay. Our team's going to be okay. And, again, it's just another hurdle that we're going to...
Coach Nate Tibbetts couldn't get enough of it in his post-game praise. He went on about how her veteran edge was reawakened for this matchup, like she'd been storing up months of energy just to unload it on Indiana. The way he talked, you'd think this game was her personal championship. From the jump, Phoenix treated this like a grudge match, not just another regular season game. Bonner was the ringleader, talking trash, hitting shots, and celebrating with the kind of theatrical flair you'd expect from a scripted drama. Every bucket came with a stare down. Every defensive stop was another excuse to jaw at the fever bench. The contrast was crystal clear. When the buzzer sounded, Phoenix was celebrating loud and taking verbal jabs, while Indiana kept it classy, checking on their injured teammates and locking in on how they'd bounce back. Bonner's night didn't feel like pure basketball brilliance. It felt like someone desperately swinging for validation from people who'd already packed up and moved on. She put extra sauce on every celebration, while the Fever's minds were on Sydney Colson's knee injury.
Look at Bonner. And Cunningham's kind of got that innocent who me grin going, and nobody's buying it.
Wow, what a steal by Bonner, stepping right into it. And Sophie knows that doesn't want to create anything more. A little holding on. You think this is becoming a rivalry?
Oh, they're letting her have it now. They gave Cunningham a big ovation.
The contrast couldn't have been sharper. Indiana's locker room was all about unity and resilience, while Bonner and the Mercury looked like they were throwing a victory parade over beating a shorthanded squad missing key players. Those 23 points? They couldn't hide the reality. Her post-game vibe was the exact reminder of why she never meshed with Indiana's team-first culture. But Sophie Cunningham? She was about to serve up a truth plate that would flip this entire narrative on its head. On her podcast, Sophie finally went there, revealing exactly how DeWanna Bonner quit on the Fever, and it was ugly.
DeWanna Bonner had any idea that how dirty she did her teammates on her way out of Indiana would ever come out to light. But Sophie Cunningham said, hold my beer. I got a podcast. I got this platform. I'm going to speak my mind. I'm not going to toe the company line. I'm not going to protect narratives. I'm not going to follow agendas. I'm going to tell you how it all went down. And DeWanna Bonner disappeared.
She started respectfully, calling Bonner a Hall of Fame level talent who was clearly unhappy in Indiana. But then came the bombshell, the detail that changed everything. According to Sophie, when Bonner decided to leave the team mid-season, she didn't even send a basic text message to her teammates. No goodbye, no explanation, nothing. Just gone. Think about that. Months of practices, road trips, and shared locker rooms, and then she vanishes without a single word. Sophie made it crystal clear. This wasn't about playbooks or coaching disagreements. This was about respect, loyalty, and what you owe to the people who went to battle with you. On her podcast, Sophie broke it down plain and simple. A basic goodbye text could have avoided all the awkwardness and bad blood after Bonner's exit from Indy. Instead of a show of professional courtesy, the Fever got total radio silence from someone they believed was a veteran leader. The way Sophie told it, Bonner didn't just leave the team. She ghosted people she'd shared months of battles, practices, and road trips with. And here's the kicker. Sophie's words hit different because she's been the one carrying the emotional weight of this squad while Bonner was off somewhere making excuses.
See that when DB came back and played for us, that they got mad that our fan base was booing her.
I don't believe in booing former players unless they left on like some you type shit.
You could hear the frustration in her voice when she described what real professional courtesy should look like between teammates. She wasn't throwing shade for the sake of it. She was talking about basic human respect. That one revelation flipped Bonner's Phoenix performance from some so-called redemption story into what it really was. A petty revenge game against teammates she couldn't even text goodbye to. Sophie's honesty pulled back the curtain, showing the clear difference between someone who fights through the storm with their team and someone who vanishes when the clouds roll in. While Bonner was out there celebrating her revenge act, the real story was how Sophie Cunningham, Lexi Hull, and the Fever's true core showed what loyalty really looks like.
Sophie Cunningham making her return to Phoenix, and it seems as if nobody on our team other than Sophie Cunningham felt any type of emotional connection to this game. DeWanna Bonner just got done doing your team absolutely dirty. You guys escape with a victory when they come to Indiana, and you wipe your hands of it like it's all over and finished with. No, it goes both ways. You don't think we want to beat her on her home court? You don't think we want to get a W for Sophie Cunningham, making her return to the team that she spent her whole entire career with?
Sophie's 18-point night in a blowout loss proved her heart. She could have quit when the game went south, but instead she kept grinding until the final buzzer. That's the thing about Sophie Cunningham. She's not just playing for stats, she's playing for pride. Even when the scoreboard was ugly, she refused to let the Fever go out without a fight. Every drive, every shot, every defensive stand was her way of saying, "This jersey means something." Meanwhile, Bonner's big night now looks more like a staged performance than any real triumph. The extra celebrations, the stares, the trash talk, all of it feels hollow when you know she couldn't even give her old teammates the courtesy of a goodbye. That's not fire. That's ego.
Because like DB was one of my vets when I was in Phoenix, and then we gathered here into Indiana, and like it was kind of a surprise that she was signed to Indiana anyway, and so we'll take her in a heartbeat. Like, she's a Hall of Famer, she's a hell of a basketball player, can score from anywhere on the court.
And that's why Sophie's words hit so hard, because she's living the values she talks about. She's been diving for loose balls, taking hits, and still stepping up to lead when everything around her is falling apart. You can't fake that, and fans know it. This game might go down in the box score as a blowout loss, but in reality, it was a character check. Sophie passed with flying colors, showing the heart of a leader in the worst circumstances. Bonner? She showed why some doors in Indiana will always stay closed to her. By the time the dust settled, the scoreboard was almost irrelevant. The real takeaway was the split screen of two completely different mindsets. On one side, Sophie Cunningham and the Fever core standing together, bruised but united, talking about how they'll bounce back. On the other, DeWanna Bonner basking in a revenge win that now feels like it came from spite more than skill.
Is this team practice? What I saw tonight looked like what I saw a month ago. Looked what I saw 3 weeks ago. Absolutely no offensive game plan. I thought this motion offense is when it's nobody's night, night in and night out. Everybody's allowed to have a night. If Kelsey Mitchell doesn't play well, it needs miraculous efforts from the rest of the team to pick this up. Sophie Cunningham played great tonight. Kelsey Mitchell had a bad game. Bad game. Where's every...
This wasn't just a clash of teams, and it was a clash of values. One side proving that loyalty, grit, and respect still mean something in professional sports. The other side proving that ego can burn bridges faster than talent can rebuild them. Fans aren't blind. They can spot the difference between a leader who bleeds for her team and a showman who only shows up when it's convenient. And on this night, Sophie's 18 points carried more weight than Bonner's 23 ever could. Indiana might have lost the game, but they kept their soul intact. And that's the kind of win you can't measure in the box score.
Obviously, Sid had that injury, and Ari left, I think, in the fourth quarter.
Yes.
Just what's the status of...
Well, it's Sid's left knee, Ari's right foot, and we'll get some more evaluation when we get home tomorrow and see.
It didn't take long for Sophie's podcast clip to explode online. Within hours, social media was flooded with fans dissecting every word, some praising her for finally telling the truth, others stunned at how cold Bonner's exit really was. Hashtags started trending. Reaction videos popped up, and even former players were chiming in about what real leadership looks like in the league. The conversation quickly went beyond just one game. People started asking bigger questions about accountability, about how veterans treat younger teammates, and about whether team culture still matters when the spotlight's on.
Rimming out. Cunningham picks up the board. Here she comes. Sophie steps into the three. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo.
Is loving being in Indianapolis. She loves this team. She's feeling it on these.
Cunningham hesitates. Ball on the deck. Sweet dish inside.
And right in the middle of it all was Sophie Cunningham, unapologetically standing by her words and refusing to water them down. Meanwhile, Bonner stayed quiet, which only made the speculation louder. Fans wanted to know. Would she respond? Would she defend herself? Or was the silence her answer? What started as a regular season matchup had turned into the most talked about WNBA feud of the year, and it was still gaining momentum.
Like, I want her to end her career and be happy, but I also think that, like, it's okay to be professional about it and, like, send a text to your teammates. Send a text and be like, hey, like, love you guys. Or you don't even have to say love you guys. Just like, hey, sorry this didn't work out. Good luck. Da-da-da-da. You know what I mean? Like, there's a way to handle that.
By midweek, the storyline had left the basketball world buzzing. Every sports show, podcast, and blog was picking a side. Some framed Sophie as the truth teller the league needed, a player willing to call out fake professionalism no matter the fallout. Others defended Bonner, saying her game spoke louder than any goodbye text could. The tension was building with every headline. Cunningham versus Bonner. Bad blood or just business? Is Sophie the WNBA's new enforcer of respect?
Phoenix doing a nice job on the boards. We talked about that, leading by 10.
Wow.
7-17.
You look at all the stats that you love as Cunningham buries,
Staying hot.
buries another triple.
It's a tough call, and here's going to see the shot by the three-pointer against Copper.
Sabley, tough shot. Wasn't square, and here comes Indiana. Cunningham, another three. Oh my goodness, Sophie Cunningham!
Even neutral analysts admitted this had gone beyond basketball. It was about pride, loyalty, and the unwritten rules that separate teammates from just co-workers. And here's the kicker. Their next matchup was already circled on the calendar. Tickets were moving faster than usual, fans online were plotting watch parties, and the league itself had to know. This wasn't just another game anymore. When Indiana and Phoenix meet again, it won't just be about the score. It'll be about who owns the court and the narrative. So here we are. A simple regular season game has turned into the WNBA's hottest rivalry storyline. Sophie Cunningham's 18-point stand, Bonner's 23-point revenge, and a podcast confession that lit the internet on fire. The scoreboard said Phoenix won, but the bigger battle over respect and loyalty, that's still wide open. The next time these two meet, it won't just be basketball, it's going to be personal, and you better believe every fan will have their eyes glued to it. Will Sophie double down and make a statement on the court?
Really wasn't happy. And, like, I want people to be happy. So that's why I'm kind of, like, neutral on this one, which a lot of people are surprised about. She's towards the end of her career, so, like, she deserves her flowers. She deserves to be happy. But I also think that if you're going to leave, like, you're going to have to expect getting booed. Like,
Was there explanation when it happened? No. Not even privately? Yeah, I mean, okay. That's tough. And, yeah, okay. Well, I did say what? Unless you leave on some fuck you type shit, and that's what that is, so.
Or will Bonner try to silence the noise with another big performance? Either way, this feud is far from over. If you're riding with Sophie, drop Spicy Sophie in the comments. Like this video, hit subscribe, and turn on all notifications so you don't miss a second of the drama. Click the video on your screen right now, and we'll see you in the next one. The injuries to Sydney Colson and Ari McDonald could have been the perfect excuse for the Fever to fold, point fingers, and start checking out mentally. But instead, you saw them rally, huddling up during timeouts, checking on their injured teammates, and refusing to let the scoreboard break their spirit.
did you see that when DB came back and played for us, that they got mad that our fan base was booing her?
I don't believe in booing former players unless they left on like some you type shit.
That's the difference between players who ride for each other and players who only ride for their own stats. Lexi Hull's standoff with Bonner told you everything about this young Fever Core's backbone. She didn't flinch when a veteran tried to stare her down in her own building. She matched the energy, let Bonner know she wasn't intimidated, and proved this squad won't get pushed around no matter how many years you've got in the league. The split screen couldn't have been more obvious. Bonner basking in solo celebrations while Indiana kept a team-first focus, worried about their injured sisters and sticking together through the grind. One side was chasing personal revenge, the other was holding the line for their culture and each other.
There were plenty of teams going for your services, Dawana, so why was this the right opportunity for you?
I just feel like it was the location for one. My kids are literally right up the road, and I've spent a lot of time away from them, so that and the core that they have here now is just kind of want to fit in, and be another piece of the puzzle, and hopefully bring the energy dynamic and take us to a different level.
That difference, it matters more than any single win or loss. The Fever fan base has embraced this group because they embody something Bonner never brought to Indiana. Genuine commitment to the team's future, not an eye on the exit door. Even without Caitlin Clark, this core has protected the identity and values that make the Fever special. They play with pride, they've got each other's backs, and they represent the city with heart every single night. The Phoenix loss stung, no question, but it also proved the Fever's foundation isn't built on players who bail when it gets tough. With Caitlin Clark's return right around the corner, this adversity is about to turn into rocket fuel for something much bigger. Yeah, the Phoenix disaster exposed some cracks, but it also spotlighted exactly who the real leaders are in this locker room.
Just as much to Sophie Cunningham as it did to the Indiana Fever when Dawana Bonner made her return. The only difference is nobody on the Indiana Fever had Sophie Cunningham's back this time around. Sophie Cunningham was the only player trying hard. The only player giving effort, play in and play out. The only player getting into it with Alyssa Thomas, getting into it with Dawana Bonner, getting into it with Kalia Copper, while everybody else just mailed it in. This game was embarrassing.
Sophie Cunningham's honesty about Bonner's unprofessional exit made it clear. Sometimes the best thing for a team is losing the wrong player. This loyal core has been through injuries, heartbreak losses, and headline drama, yet they're still standing shoulder to shoulder. While their former teammate celebrates beating a shorthanded squad, that gap in character, that's going to matter when the games really count. And it might just be the secret weapon that fuels a 2025 championship run no one saw coming. If you're rocking with Sophie, drop Spicy Sophie in the comments. Like, subscribe, and turn on all notifications so you never miss a second of the action. Click the video on your screen now, and we'll see you in the next one.